And now, Pujyatman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji commences tonight's Satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Krishna. O Krishna, may I dream of you, dancing with me on the grassy banks of the Yamuna river. O Krishna, abide in my deepest thoughts and unspoken feelings, singing the melody of eternity. May my soul merge with you. May my waking hours be filled with the sweetness of your being. May my life flow on like the Yamuna river, sparkling with your smile, merging with your divine love. In the depths of my heart, O Krishna, may I ever abide with you. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujyatman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji in Miami, Florida. Today is March the 30th, 2018, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 98. And now Pujyatman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji.
Om Nilambuja Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatam. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas of Tulsi, Ramayana, Balkhand, and we are with this context of Rama is in Janakpur. And King Janaka has commenced what is known as Dhanusha Yajna. His daughter Sita is to be married. by anyone who breaks that bow. And for having Sita, lots of great souls, powerful personalities of that time, even demons assuming the form of human beings, they were all present. All with the expectation that they will be able to break the Shiva's bow and marry Sita. It's a highly allegorical setting. People don't go into the deeper meaning of it. They take it as a historical description. But Sita is Viveka Buddhi, discriminative intellect. Soul in you is Rama. Rama with the potentiality of destroying ignorance, Ravana. But at this stage, the soul is not playing the role of being perfectly full. So, soul must become fascinated with Viveka Buddhi. Soul and an individual must develop a keen love, a keen aspiration for acquiring intuitive intellect. Once that has happened, the soul moves on to the highest goal. Until then, if soul is only wedded to impure intellect, or worse still, wedded to inflated ego, that soul remains wretched. It goes on making other people wretched as well. But in order to marry Sita, in order to have that glimpse of Viveka Buddhi within, you have to allow your personality to be integrated to such an extent that you don't find your goal anywhere in the world that is transient. This world, always mind, no matter how advanced, is always looking at certain corner of the world. I'm speaking allegorical language. Corner of the world means always living in a world of time, space, to have desire. WWW. Where, why, when. And mind is constantly involved with where, why, when. Then that's the bhava chap. That's the pull of the world. And you are fooled by this pull. Because you miss the point, who am I? Your attention does not go towards who am I, but attention goes to where, when, why. Figure that out. This WWW, this becomes a terrible force pulling the soul down into a world that is filled with misery, leading the soul to the cycle of birth and death. Come to that stage where you can shut down this WWW and highlight who am I. Come to another WWW. Wait, watch, and wonder. Practice sadhana, allow the negative to move away, wait, and watch how much your potentiality is that you didn't know, and wonder. come to the grip of realizing the self. Keeping that in view, we continue with the story. Sita Devi in storyline, as it is custom for ladies who marry, before marriage, they go to the temple of Gauri Devi, Devi who is an embodiment of auspiciousness. And Sita Devi had been already there in the Devi temple, has offered all her prayers. And you have heard how the statue of the Devi smiled. The statue came to a divine transformation. Not only smiled, but allowed her head to bend down towards Sita. Thereby, her mala, rosary, her garland fell upon Sita's neck. Highly allegorical setting. And I have also explained those points by saying prarthana, pratiti, prarthana, darshan and pratiti. You pray, if your bhavana feeling is very advanced, then you have a touch of something mystical about the picture or whatever you are worshipping. And that touch is darshan. As a result, a profound change occurs. It is not manifest, not vivid. You hardly know it. When your big headache moves away, you hardly know it. But pratiti, a feeling of inner expansion, inner fulfillment, begins to advance. The mystical meaning of mala, her mala, coming down on Sita's neck, implying all divine virtues that are divine, belong to the divine realm, they begin to embellish, adorn the devotee. You are growing in the image of God. And that Gauri Devi gave the blessing to Sita. Sunusya satya si sahamari, pujahi manah kamana tumhari. O Sita, listen to my blessing, a blessing that is absolutely infallible, sachi asis. Truth cannot be shaken. It is a blessing of truth. And what is that? Your heartfelt desire will be fulfilled. And spiritual meaning behind it. When you have come to that state of being drawn to, when your soul is drawn to Viveka Buddhi, Prakriti Devi, that's the divine Shakti emanating from Brahman, that Shakti now as if gives you the blessing. Divine qualities, virtues begin to develop. And put it in another way, all your manokamanas, the desires of your mind, firstly to understand those desires are not true desires. The desires led by ignorance, led by illusion. So all those desires cannot be fulfilled if you stay ignorant. As you advance, all those desires disappear, or they stay subservient to the central aspiration, may I attain liberation. If, as it happens, the soul attains its cherished goal, in other words, it's kind of a mantra type of blessing. A saintly blessing doesn't ask, do you deserve it? How much blessing can I give you? Tell me about yourself. Saintly blessing is not limited that way. Blessing is simple. Puja hi manah kamana tumhari. Your heartfelt desire will be fulfilled. That will apply to where you are. Now, if your desire is only in the worldly realm, that desire will be fulfilled. But the profounder blessing, your real desire, the real urge within your heart, is to attain God realization. And that's bound to be fulfilled. नारद वचन सदा शुचि साचा सो बरु मिलहि जाहि मनुराचा. Narad Vachan is, according to storyline, Narada had prophesied earlier in this story that Sita will attain the highest personality as her husband. Sita will attain the Rama avatar as her husband. And that, from broad point of view, that type of blessing comes through Satsanga. Satsanga is Narada Vachan. All the teachings of the scriptures are Narada's scriptures. And every soul is like Sita or Rama, whichever way you put it. And blessing is fulfillment. Sita fulfillment means let viveka buddhi, discriminative knowledge, blossom. मनुजाहि राखेउ मिलहि सोवरु सहज सुंदर सांवरो. This voice comes from the Devi, and Sita hears it, and others don't. O Sita, the person towards whom your mind has become deeply involved, deeply drawn. That's Rama. The one who is handsome, savala, swarthy complexion, that one you will get as your husband. Karuna nidhan sujana shilu, sanehu janat ravaro. He is Karuna nidhan, the boundless treasure of compassion. God's compassion is beyond limits. You can't count his compassion. And he is Sujan, means Sarvagya. He is all-knowing. If you are wanting to have things that are not helpful to you, he is not going to give you. You may be shocked. You prayed so much and didn't get it. God knows your virtue and your devotion. Having listened to this blessing from the Devi, Sita Devi became delighted, along with all the associates of the Sita Sakhis. They all, seeing Sita delighted, all were delighted. Saint Tulsidas Ji says that Sita Devi, having bowed before Gauri Devi again and again, she now planned to return home. That's the royal palace. Jani Gauri Anukul, Siyahiya Harashuna Jai Kahi, Manjula Mangala Mool, Bam Anga Parakan Lage. Finding the Devi so gracious towards her, Sita's heart was filled with joy. And in her limbs, she began to feel a suggestion to what's going to happen in future. That she is going to be united with Rama. And what's that mark? Bama anga parakan lage. The left side of the body, maybe left arm, any part of the left begins to throb. In Indian tradition, this is considered very auspicious. But you can't make it throb by your will. You good, the good is going to happen, it throbs automatically. There's profound psychology involved. Karma brings about different situations. And every karma, before coming, gives a little suggestion, little mark. If positive has to happen, something opens up in your unconscious, some breeze comes, and there is a little flutter in your nervous system. And that brings about certain change, certain movements within your body, within your eyes, even you may get horripilation, even hairs stand up. The negative happening creates its own effect on your body. Positive in another way. And you know it because is something self-evidence. हृदय सराहत सीय लोनाई गुरु समीप गवने दो भाई. Rama, who is a storyline, he is so drawn to Sita. And internally, his mind is just describing, writing poetry about Sita's face. It's not written there. See a Lonai, want to go to details, Lona terms with salt. Beauty of a person in village language is described, look at his Lunai, look at his salt. If you have the touch of healthy salt, salt term don't confuse it with the medical science. It is a mystical term. That means you have something tasteful. You are not a tasteless personality. A divine taste has entered. And when you have that taste, your face begins to show it, to glow with it. And that was what Sita, who has Rama in her heart, and face was shining so. And Rama is this internally within his heart, he's holding Sita's face and as if describing the beauty and the lustrous rays radiating from her face. Both brothers, Rama and Lakshmana, they went to Guru Vishwamitra. Rama opened his heart before his Guru. Rama kaha sabu kas kausika pahi, saral subhav chuat chalanahi. Rama told all that he felt when he saw Sita. He didn't hide anything from the Guru. Sumana pai muni puja kinhi, puni asti sadhu bhai nadinhi. Rama and Lakshmana, they offered flowers at his feet. And sage Vishwamitra gave blessings to both of them. And this brought delight in the heart of Rama and Lakshmana. One important point, this is the blessing that the sage gave. Suphala manoratha ho tumhare, Ram lakhan suni bhaye sukhare. These are like Mahavakyas of the Ramayana, great utterances. The first great utterance we told you, Sunisya satya sisa hamari, pujahi manah kamana tumhari. O Sita, this is my true blessing. All your cherished desires will be fulfilled. Next, Suphala manoratha ho tumhare, Ram lakhan suni bhaye sukhare. All your mental aspirations will be fulfilled. Same thing in a different language. And that brought delight in Rama. Seeing Rama delighted, Lakshmana is exceedingly delighted. Some of these verses have become like mantras. People who want to turn their negative day into something positive, ominous situation into something good. They recite these verses, Sufal manorat ho tumhare, Ram lakhan suni bhayo sukhare. करी भोजन मुनिवर विज्ञानी, लगे कहन कछु कथा पुरानी. After they had their food, Vishwamitra began to relate to Rama and Lakshmana some stories from the Puranas. This kind of relaxing time, old style, spiritual type of relaxation. Even after food, you are listening to some great scriptures. And since you are already satisfied, your body doesn't have much demand, your mind is psychologically ready to play with those things you hear and assimilate it. विगत दिवसु गुरु आय सुपाई, संध्या करण चले दो भाई. By this time the day had declined. With the permission of the Guru, Rama and Lakshmana went to perform their religious prayers. Prachi disi sasi uyau subhava, Siyamukha sarisa dekhi sukha pava. Suddenly Rama turns his face to the full moon in the eastern direction. And his attention, the moon awakens in him his attention towards Sita. First the idea comes in his mind, look, this is like Sita's face. But then he thinks again. He said, no. Moon can't compare Sita's face. With little blemish within the moon, which waxes and wanes, shines in vain, and it has no light of its own. You can't compare moon with Sita. And this has a very broader implication. All sakamya karmas, all actions that you perform for attaining worldly happiness and peace. Worldly attainment is like the moon. It seems so wonderful, but first defect in it, it is never the same. It waxes and wanes. In the morning, something looks so good. By the evening, it doesn't look so good. And bigger defect, that it is not reality. Happiness doesn't come from the world. Happiness, the joy has its source in Brahman, the absolute self. This point is brought that Sita's face outshines the moon. Excels the beauty and the shine of the moon. In other words, if you have love for viveka buddhi, love for intuitive intellect, before that goal of attaining intuitive intellect, all the temptations of the world can be put before you like a shining moon. but that will not compare with the attainment of intuitive knowledge. The Upanishad calls it Bhuma, the unconditioned. Love for Bhuma, that arises when you have purified intellect. Purified intellect is Chita Devi. And all worldly attainments, they are termed as alpam, little. The next point, illusory, like mirage. Now Rama goes on looking into the negative aspect of the moon, how the moon is recognized by people as something wonderful. But they don't realize its defects. I must realize I'm talking allegorical terms. They have nothing to do with moon. What is to do with it? Finding happiness in the transient objects of the world, desire for worldly pleasure, that's the moon that attracts the minds of all people in the world. That moon, here more details about it. It's allegorical. Janam sindhu puni bandhu vishu dinmalinam sakalank siya mukha samata pavakimi chandu vapuro rank. This is coming from the Puranas, scriptures that have given the allegorical story of where the moon was born. Now this according to that story. The moon emerged out of salty ocean. And the same ocean brought out poison. This is at the time of the churning of the ocean. Many things emerged from the ocean. I'm giving you a storyline. And while moon emerged, the very same ocean brought out terrible poison which was taken away by Lord Shiva. But what you are being pointed out is that the brother of the moon is poison. Simple point is detailed upon in a kind of allegorical way. The brother of all worldly pleasure is big pain. And the moon remains lusterless during the day. There is no luster in the moon. Worldly pleasure becomes lusterless in Satsang atmosphere. Luster that shines in your face when you enjoy uplifting, elevating talk. Before that shine, the shine that comes when you see a laddu and a pear, that shine becomes little. So how can Sita's face be compared to that poor moon? घटाई बढ़ाई बिरहिनी दुखदाई ग्रसई राहु निज संधि पाई. The moon waxes and wanes. And families that go through distressing situation, I will not elaborate there. Their pain increases when they look at the moon. It's like a luna, you have to understand that point. The mind relates to the moon. The same full moon that will give you delight if you are sattvic, you have done wonderful things. The same full moon will give you more pain if you are separated from a loved one and you are under certain stress. Figure that out. So you moon, you are not like Sita. You have countless defects in you. वैदेही मुख पट तर दिन है होई देव दोष बड़ा अनुचित किन है. Anyone who would compare moon with Vaidehi Sita, he will be doing something extremely wrong and improper. Point is, think of two attainments. Attaining worldly enjoyment, worldly prosperity, attaining Viveka Buddhi. Attaining Viveka Buddhi is Sita's face. Attaining worldly enjoyment is the moon. You can't compare them. Can't put them on the same plane. सिय मुख छवि विधु व्याज बखानी गुरु पहे चले निशा बड़ी जानी. And internally, having settled his thinking process of commenting upon the Sita's face, comparing it with moon and finding moon completely erroneous. With that type of mental setting, he and Lakshmana went to Guru Vishwamitra. Kari Muni Charan Saroj Pranama Ayasupai Kinha Vishrama. They offered their prayers. They touched the feet of, lotus feet of Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra, with Vishwamitra's permission, they relaxed, sat down. Relaxed means it was night, so they went to sleep. Now, as the night passed and the dawn started to appear, Ubhay Aruna Avalokahu Tata, Rama said to Lakshmana, Ubhay Aruna Avalokahu Tata, Pankaja Koka Loka Sukhadata. O Lakshman, look at the lotuses, beautiful birds. The sun is rising, which is a giver of joy to the whole world. In other words, Rama is describing the power of the sun, the joy that that the sun brings to the whole world. Lakshmana, with folded hands, said, अरुणोदय सकुचे कुमुद उड़गन ज्योति मलिन जिमि तुम्हार आगमन सुनि भये नृपति बलहीन. And Lakshmana said, with the rising of the sun, many of the lilies, they have a different quality. They begin to close their petals. And especially all the stars that were twinkling and shining, they have faded away. In the same way, your presence in this assembly of people, you are coming like the sun. And all those personalities are like different stars. Your presence will make them all fade away. Lakshmana always highlights Rama's glory. निप सबट नखत करहीं उजियारी तारी न सकहीं चाप तम भारी. All these kings who have come, they are like stars in the night. They have no strength to lift Shiva's bow and break it. Just like stars don't have strength to remove darkness. Stars shine, no matter how much they shine. Darkness, night doesn't go away. Similarly, all worldly pleasures are like stars. All worldly goals. And they cannot remove darkness of ignorance. With the termination of the night, lotuses are blossoming, special birds are singing, black bees having good time. So there is a great joy everywhere. Similarly, ऐसे ही प्रभु सब भगत तुम्हारे वो यहीं टूटे धनुष सुखारे. Same will happen when you break the Shiva's bow. It will be like sun has risen. And vain kings who are like stars, they have moved away, they have become faded away. And the breaking of the bow will bring great delight to all your devotees, just like the sun brings delight to the earth, to the world. रवि निज उदय व्याज रघुराया प्रभु प्रताप सब नृपन दिखाया. O Rama, Lakshmana says to his brother, the sun is going to rise. And as if the sun is declaring through his rising, as the sun rises, declaring your glory surpasses the sun. The sun has risen to allow you to break the Shiva's bow And thereby you will be shining like the sun, like more than sun. बंधु बचन सुनि प्रभु मुस्काने, होई शुचि सहज पुनीत नहाने. Listening to the words of his brother, Rama smiled. And then both of them engaged themselves to do morning duties, nitya karam, daily duties of the morning. And having done so, nitya kriya kari guru pahi aaye, charan saroj subhag sir naaye. Having washed up and done the early morning duties, they came before Vishwamitra and bowed their heads at the lotus feet of the sage. Satanand tab janak bulaye, kaushik muni pahi turat pathaye. Here, King Janaka called his royal priest Satananda and sent him to bring Vishwamitra along with Rama and Lakshmana. And Satananda came, requested Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra told Rama and Lakshmana to come with him. Satananda pad bandi prabhu, baithe guru pahi jai, chalahu tat muni kaheu tab, pathwa janak bulai. Vishwamitra told Rama and Lakshmana that Satanandji has come to inviting us to go into the arena where the Shiva's bow is kept. Siya swayam baru dekhiye jai, Ishu kahi dhau deyi badai. Vishwamitra says, let us see, behold, Sita's Swayambar, how Sita comes to find her match, and see, and let us see whom God is going to give his special blessing. Who will be the one who will marry Sita? Let's watch. He knows Rama will marry, but he keeps it in secret. That's how the stories remain interesting. Lakhan kaha jas bhajanu soi, nath kripa tava ja par hoi. And Lakshmana said to Vishwamitra that whomsoever you shower your grace, whomsoever you shower your grace on, that one will definitely break the Shiva's bow. Harshe muni sab suni barabani, dinhi ashish sabahi sukhamani. Puni muni vrinda sameta kirpala, dekhan chale dhansham kamala. All people, along with Vishwamitra, there are many sages. They all were so happy that they were now going to the arena where this great show is going to take place. Rang bhumi aaye do bhai, asi sudhi sab purvas n pai. Both brothers, along with Vishwamitra and other sages, they came to Rangabhumi arena. The Sanskrit for Rangabhumi is interesting. That place which brings different colors. People come there in the arena and they are completely attuned to something. A strange atmosphere is created. That's called rang. Hriday mein tarang, man mein rang. The wave goes into your heart, mind becomes involved with a special color. If something wrong takes place, you say rang mein bhang. When you are enjoying it, something broke. And both is going to happen here. रंग भूमि आए दो भाई, असि सुधि सब पुरवास न पाई. People of Janakpur, having heard that Rama and Lakshmana has come into the arena, they all came. They were not in, it was not necessary for them to be there. But since Rama and Lakshmana had entered that arena, they all want to see him. चले सकल गृह काज बिसारी, बाल जुआन जरठ नर नारी. And the moment they heard Rama and Lakshmana are going to appear in arena, no matter whatever work they were doing, just left it. Not leaving the tea cooking with it. But whatsoever they left it. All of them, children, teenagers, young people, aged people, men and women, all joined in to behold what's going to happen. देखी जनक भीर भय भारी, शुचि सेवक सब लिए हकारी. तुरत सकल लोगन पहीं पजाहु, आसन उचित देहु सब काहु. King Janaka saw all this crowd has come in, so he ordered his people to make them occupy proper seats. कहीं मृदु बचन विनीत चिन्ह बैठारे नर नारी, उच्चम मध्यम नीच लघु निज निज थल अनुसारी. And they were all given seats deserved to whatever they deserved, according to their status. Seats were presented. राजकुंवर तेहि अवसर आए, मनहु मनोहर तातन छाए. And now Rama appears, Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra. And all of them had gone there for that very darshan. Nothing was interesting more than that. That was Rama was the source of their fascination. And when they looked at Rama, as if Rama is the very embodiment of all that you consider beauty and glory, Sundar Shyamal Gaur Sarira. Rama is blue complexioned, Lakshmana is fair complexioned. Understand also from deeper point of view, Rama is wisdom, jnana movement. Jnana movement leads you to expansion. Expansion is akasha. Akasha, sky is blue. So when you give it color to it, it's blue. With blue complexion. Similar, Rama and Krishna both are described as Shyamal, blue complexioned. And Lakshmana is meditative movement. Meditative movement focuses on purification, and purity is represented by snow, fair complexion. So Rama and Lakshmana is dhyana and jnana, meditation and wisdom. And they are in that arena, waiting for Viveka Buddhi to join with them, waiting for Rama to break the Shiva's bow. राज समाज विराजत रूरे, उड़गन महु जन जुग विधि पूरे. When they sat down in that arena with all the royal assembly, Rama appeared like shining moon in the midst of stars. Here the simile is in a different plane. Moon is not being looked down upon, highlighting Rama's glory. जिनके रही भावना जैसी, प्रभु मूरति जिन्ह देखी तैसी. This is another big, great utterance of the Ramayana. That utterance is all those people, they looked at Rama, but no two persons saw Rama exactly the same way. Everyone saw according to their bhavana, according to the way their mind was structured, according to their vasanas. And that has been detailed now in the coming. Dekhahi roop maharan dhira, manahu veer ras dhare sarira. Those who have heroic personalities, they saw Rama as the embodiment of heroism. Kare kutil nipa prabhu nihari, manahu bhayanak murati bhari. But kings that have come with very crooked mind just to grab Sita and run away without deserving her. When they looked at Rama, he looked as terrible form, Bhayankar. रहे असुर छल छोनिश बेशा, तिन्ह प्रभु प्रगट कालमय देखा. And those who are demoniac spirits in human forms, they found Rama as the very embodiment of death. But citizens of Janakpur, they found Rama and Lakshmana. Purvasin dekhe do bhai, narabhushan lochan sukhadai. All those citizens who had gone there, they see Rama and Lakshmana as the crowning glory of humanity, giver of immense joy to the sight. नारी बिलो कहीं हरसिंह, निज निज रुचि अनुरूप, जनु सोहत श्रृंगार धरि, मूरति परम अनूप. Women who have their another way of looking at things with a flavor of art, looking through the heart. They found Rama and Lakshmana very enchanting. They were the very embodiment of sweetness. And we have to stop now. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
If anyone has a question, please raise your hand and Sudha will bring you the mic. Please be sure to speak into it loud and clear when you ask the question.
You take over. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Hari Om Swamiji. I had a question about Sita being kidnapped and placed in Ashoka Vana.
Yeah.
Why is it called Ashoka Vana? What is the meaning behind that?
Ashoka Vatika. Wherever Vivek Buddhi, intuitive intellect has to be, that place cannot be afflicted by grief. If Sita is vulnerable to grief, then that's not real Sita. So even the afflictions that Sita shows in the story, they are only for shadow Sita. The reality behind that Sita is Ashok, no grief. The whole Ramayana, that's the moral of the story, how to unite Rama with Sita. And if Sita herself is in trouble, how could we, that unity will be great. So Sita, potential Vivek Buddhi in you is remover of all grief. That's the subtle meaning behind it. So if you want to go into Ashoka Vatika, you allow your mind to be purified and develop Vivek Buddhi. Until then, you are in Ashoka Vatika.
Yeah. I just want to ask one more question about today's lecture. You mentioned about in the Rangabhumi, different people were looking at Rama in a different way. That is, different gunas look at Rama with their own gunas. Is that what is the truth or the reality?
That again has a very profounder meaning behind it. All your experiences in the world are led by your vasanas. And the world is essentially Rama. Siya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. And yet, everyone is caught in a world of their own illusion. Just like when you are dreaming, you are caught in your own illusion. Say 50 people are sleeping in a hall. All are sleeping. And onlookers say, oh, they are all restful. But each one is according to their own vasanas, involved in different things. So from advanced point of view, all are Brahman. But in the realm of ignorance, as long as the mind is gripped by ignorance, and no two minds are exactly alike, their vasanas are different. So therefore, same Rama, same truth, is appearing to different souls in different ways. But if the mind becomes purified, then Rama, all things are nothing but Rama.
Thank you, Swamiji. I just want to thank you for your tremendous teachings, and I watched through the internet.
Okay.
Rarely get a chance to come here.
What's your name?
Shashidhar.
Shashidhar. Okay. Very well. Okay.
So tomorrow is Saturday. We enjoy a guided meditation class here in the ashram, starting 7:30 p.m. If you're interested in pranayam, please be seated by 7 p.m. We have a short instruction in pranayam. On Sunday, Swamiji will continue with the lecture series on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. 5:30 p.m. is the time. Our festivity coming up, Easter festivity next Sunday, which is April 8th. Join us. We commence at 5 p.m. If you forget, our calendar is always listed on our website, www.yrf.org. Thank you, Swamiji. So don't forget, our new book, Mysticism of the Bible, is out, and we have a special going on until Easter. Thank you, Swamiji.